Hello, fifth graders. Happy Wednesday to you. Also, happy Holy Week to you. This is a really, really special week for our school and for our church. So I hope that you have picked up your Holy Week kit from St. James. As a reminder, you need to be checking your Jupiter every day. There are messages on there for you of important information. And this is really good practice for when you go to high school and you communicate with your teachers through email. Today, we're going to go ahead and get to work. You're going to use this video as your lesson plan, and you're going to pretend like you have been that we are in the classroom together. So right now on your screen, you should do what I'm doing. You're going to go to classwork, and you're going to find today's date. Today is Wednesday, 4/8. So we're going to open that up. You want to do each day's lesson on that date. So yesterday, you should have done 4/7, and on Monday, you should have done 4/6. And then today, we're doing 4/8. As we open up the worksheet, we see that the first thing we need to do is answer our do now question. So what I would like you to do right now is pause this video and respond. You are going to be writing a story, as many sentences as you want, at least 4, that will start like this. It started off like a normal Wednesday. When I walked into the kitchen, I noticed that the ground creaked under me. It doesn't usually do that. I crouched down and I pressed on the floor with my hand. The floor instantly opened up and there was a hidden box. I opened up the box and pause the video and go ahead and finish that story. Press play when you're finished. All right, so you're finished your do now. Here's what we're going to do now. We are going to look at this vocabulary together. We are then going to read the rest of our chapter, and you are going to complete these comprehension questions. The way that you're going to complete them is just by clicking on the box next to it, and this is where you write your answer. I want to give a shout out to Mason, who did a particularly amazing job with this. Shout out to Bryn, to many of my friends, to Samaj, who's been keeping it super consistent. Shout out to Andrew. I want you to know that when you turn this in, all of those boxes should be filled in. So you should be answering those questions. And then after we do the reading, you're going to fill out a journal entry right here and then click turn in. At this point in time, I want you to go and grab your vocabulary book. We are going to start reviewing the vocab right now. All right, we're back. Let's go. Yesterday, you guys did homophones. And homophones are when two words sound alike, but they are spelled differently and they mean something different, okay? I'm going to go over what the answers would be for that, and then I'm going to give you today's vocabulary challenge. I am really, really proud of those of you who are being so diligent and doing this work every day. I know it's not easy, and I know that these times are hard. Sometimes I feel a little bit sad and a little bit stressed too, but I feel better every time knowing that my 5th grade family is out there staying safe and doing well. So I just want to give you a quick shout out to say, I love you guys and I really miss you. All right. Page 116. Number 1. You're going to pick the second one, C-O-U-R-S-E. Number 2, boulder, B-O-L-D-E-R. Number 3, hoard, H-O-R-D-E. Number 4, boulder, B-O-U-L-D-E-R. Number 5, course, C-O-A-R-S-E. Number 6, hoard, H-O-A-R-D. Your answers could look like anything for 7, 8, and 9, so I'm just really hopeful that you did well on those, and I love the extra bonus on the bottom to write a riddle. I bet that Miley and Andrew and Lakira and Kendall did a fantastic job with that because the Benny House, we are known for our riddles. Your vocab work today is going to be completing this page. You are going to do page 117 all. And this is about word choice. It is about being specific in which word you use to express something because every word has a different shade of meaning. After you finish page 117, press play on the video again and we'll start reading. Okay, so you should be done with your vocab now. We're going to head over to our book and we are going to finish chapter 9. I really, really wish we were together right now because I would say, 5th grade, what are some of the questions that you have right now about the text? So let's take a second to brainstorm on those. Okay, Talea, what is a question you have about the text? I also wondered, what is Tess's mom sick with? I don't know. Okay, Mulani, what's your question about the text? Another good one, right? Why is there plastic all over the furniture? Great question. Any other questions we want to go into right now? Dylan H., what do you think? Will Jeannie ever tell Ernie about the snake? I don't know. Oh, another question. I wonder if anyone noticed this one. Yasir did. Yeah. Yep, I was thinking that too. Why did the grandparents move out of the yellow house in the woods? What happened there? Who knows? Right now, we're going to start on the top of page 173. And today we're going to read to the end of this chapter, which is page 181. Look at that, y'all. Halfway done. You're amazing. Genius, children. Bottom of 172, we'll go where the quotation mark starts. It means, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he had two personalities in himself he was struggling with. Tess's mom popped each plastic glove at the wrist, then folded her arms across the chest. He was in World War II, and some days you could really tell he was still dealing with it, because he would lock himself in the bedroom all day. And then on other days, he would be so nice, so gentle. She inched a few steps closer and sat on the arm of the chair next to the couch. Matter of fact, that's how the whole birdcage thing happened. They had this window in their house, a great big one. She spread her arms to show how wide. And sometimes, when I would be playing in front of the window, there would be a little thump against the glass. Then we would find a little bird on the porch. Stupid things would be flying around and see their reflection in that big old window and attack, full speed, head first. Wham! She clapped her hands together and the gloves muting the normal pop. Your great-granddaddy, if he was in a good mood, would have come out there and see the little hurt birdies, and he would scoop them up and put them in these wooden wire cages that he made, so that they could hopefully heal up in peace and not be eaten by the family dog. What was her name? Shoot, I can't even remember now. Anyway, they didn't want the birds to be eaten by the dog, or worse, by a snake. Are they going to talk about the snake? I don't know. Out of the blue, Tess's mother stood. She checked her mask, checked the wrists of her gloves, and cleared her throats. Then she sat again. And so he taught me how to make the rescue cages. For when he wasn't around. I mean, he wasn't even that old, but I guess he figured, just in case. And now you know the history of North Hill, Virginia, where the people save birds who get hurt from trying to fight themselves, Tess said wittily. Don't be smart, Tess, her mother snapped. Anyway, nice meeting y'all. Tell your grandfolks I say hello. Then, turning to Jess, she said, "Lo, Tess, you know what to do." It's mysterious. Once Tess's mother disappeared down the hallway and they heard the door close, Ernie whispered, "What did she mean, you know what to do?" Tess sighed. "Sorry, boys, but now I gotta kill y'all." Then she made the stab, stab, stab movement at Ernie and laughed. They're in love. Look at them flirting, guys. Her laughter trailed off as quickly as she began explaining what was really going on. Nah, I just gotta wipe down everything when y'all leave, especially the computer. She rubbed her cheeks hard. She's crazy, my ma, Tess said bluntly. Then she turned to Ernie and repeated it, this time looking straight in his eyes. She's crazy. Seriously. She's out of her mind. She wears that mask because she thinks she's sick and everything around her is sick. Every week it's a new thing. Last week she thought she had tuberculosis. The week before that, asthma. Yesterday she told me that she's pretty sure she's coming down with cerebral palsy. But then just this morning she said it's cystic fibrosis. And just before I let y'all in, she said she thinks it might be Alzheimer's, but she can't remember. I don't know what any of that stuff is except asthma, Ernie admitted. None of it. Well, I didn't either.
but she looks each thing up on the internet and tells me every doggone detail. She hasn't left the house in a month. Some days she won't even leave her room. But is she really sick? Jeannie asked, wondering if maybe he should have written down all of those disease names. Did you drink beer at the bar the other day? Tess asked. No, ginger beer, Jeannie said, confused. Tess pulled a wet wipe from a small container set on the end table beside the couch. Stepping over Ernie's leg, she came over to the computer and began wiping down the keyboard. Well, that explained all the wet wipes. Exactly, Tess said, running the white cloth over each key, spreading the strange scent of cooked flowers. Looked like beer, but it was just ginger beer, the special. Right, the special. Well, let's just say my mom's another version of the special. Or we could say your mom's a hypochondriac, Jeannie said. Tess cocked her head. I don't know how y'all do up in New York, but down here, we don't just go around calling people's mamas names. I'm not, Jeannie backpedaled. I'm just saying, that's what's wrong with her. And how do you know that? Are you a genius? No, he's a nerd, Ernie said. Jeannie shot him a look, but nothing too cold. It wasn't that big of a deal. He had been called a nerd before. I saw it on the internet, Jeannie said with a shrug. You mean to tell me you know what a hypercognac is, but hypochondriac? Whatever. You know what that is, but you don't know whether there's such a thing as a black sheep? Jeannie's cheeks started to burn. What feeling is he feeling if his cheeks are burning? That's right, embarrassment. Thank you, Lakira. He's feeling embarrassed right now. Well, that's different. But what wasn't different were the new questions coming to Jeannie, which he frantically scribbled into his notepad before leaving Tess's wet-wiped house. Number 464. Why are swallows called swallows? Did people used to eat them? Maybe great-grandpa? Gross. Number 465. How do birds heal themselves? Do they have to be in safe spaces, like cages? Wouldn't they feel trapped? Can you be trapped and feel safe at the same time? And that was how it went for the rest of the week. Jeannie catching up on his questions either at night or in the morning, after dinner or before chores. And as soon as Grandma's litany of duties were done, Jeannie and Ernie headed down to Tess's. Jeannie sitting at the computer, typing away, reading about all of the things that no one else seems to care about, including the unfortunate fact that there was no way he could find a replacement wheel for the red truck. Turned out nobody in North Hill was giving any away. And he'd looked all over the living room floor for the other half of the broken one, but apparently the floor had eaten it or something. So yeah, bummer. As for Ernie and Tess, they would sit on the couch each day, scooting closer and closer to each other. Ernie would be trying to prove how tough he was by letting Tess pinch him or punch him as hard as she could. Tess's mom would yell something from the back like, Tess, go tell your father I need medicine for athlete's foot. Chronic athlete's foot. I'm pretty sure I have it. Tess would roll her eyes, which would be Ernie and Jeannie's cue that it was time for her to wipe down the living room and for all of them to go back outside. So they would help Tess make earrings, or sometimes just throw bottle caps at each other, or sometimes even walk around the yard in search of anthills to poke holes in. Then they would watch the fire ants pour out of the top like lava with legs. They would usually hit the bar for a cold ginger beer and stale peanuts that were disgusting to eat, but perfect for trying to see who could catch the most in their mouths. And Jeannie and Ernie finally began settling into country life. They even had been to church with Grandma, which was nothing short of a snoozer. An old building with old people singing old songs. Jeannie and Ernie slept through most of it, which Grandma didn't mind because they were sitting in the back anyway, since they didn't have any dress clothes, and Grandma said she wasn't about to be embarrassed. She said God could still get inside of them even if they were asleep. Ernie wondered out loud why they couldn't have just stayed at home if that was the case, and Jeannie wondered if that was why Grandpop didn't have to come. Back at the house, the sweet tea had finally started to taste good. Jeannie and Grandpop spent a little time each day in the inside-outside room, where Grandpop would have his drink and his apple, always spinning the seeds in the small cup that he kept under the table. Jeannie had taken to apples too, and was getting pretty good at seed spinning as well. More importantly, he got a new chore, one he picked all of his own: cleaning that crazy room. He was really starting to like those birds, especially after learning what the barn swallows symbolized. He decided that they needed names, and since there were 5 of them, he named them after the Jackson 5. Then he decided that he would make sure they were getting fed. He cleaned the poop out of their cages, with Grandpop showing him how. It was so crazy that Grandpop had been doing it himself all this time, which explained the mess on the fake grass floor. Grandpop gave Jeannie a toothbrush that he attached to a long wooden stick so that it would slide between the bars to scrub at the white gunked cage bottoms. It wasn't perfect. At first, Jeannie worried that he would poke one of the birds while he was scrubbing, but they always hopped out of the way. And it was pretty gross, but it was better than the mess Grandpop had going on. Jeannie also felt bad about those poor thirsty plants, so he started watering them and plucking off the leaves that had died, tricks that he learned from Grandma in the pea garden. Ernie was invited to come into the room with them as well, and he did sometimes, but it kind of freaked him out. Jeannie could tell. All the cages and plants and birds, it was, a little freaky. Plus, Ernie was way more interested in Tess. She was his new chore. She would sometimes come up the hill to visit, and she would sit out with Ernie on the porch like old people and talk or fool around with Samantha until the sun disappeared behind the trees and the sky became layered with colors that they never saw in Brooklyn, and the red houses at the bottom of the hill darkened. Then, on day 8, the humdrum routine that Jeannie and Ernie were actually starting to like was broken. That's where we're going to pause for today. Something clearly is happening. Their routine's getting thrown off. There must be some sort of incident. Your job now is to go use your annotations, go use your reading, and on the Google Classroom, please answer the comprehension questions for that chapter. They are located on your worksheet from today. Today's worksheet is due at midnight tonight, so I'll be checking it first thing tomorrow morning to put it into Jupyter. And remember, you are expected to do one of these ELA East worksheets every day. After you answer the comp questions, write a 4-sentence journal, and then I will see you later. If you need me, if you have any questions, please ask your parents if you can give me a call. I am available by phone, and I look forward to seeing all of you on the internet soon. Bye, guys.